Hi guys, I'm back. I would be disappointed if you didn't miss me. So, one of you guys brought something really interesting to my attention. I'm just gonna read it out. This channel claims to be pro one religion, but almost all of its content, every single video it uploads, is focused on insulting, stereotyping, and spreading hatred against India and the Hindus. I wonder why that is. Is it simply because it's the largest Muslim majority country in the world? Is it the same propaganda mechanism that works with the Pakistani and Bangladeshi bots? See, Indonesia is a really fascinating place. Despite being the largest Muslim majority country, the national emblem of Indonesia is Garud, which is basically derived from Hinduism. It's the carrier or vehicle of the Hindu god Vishnu. Also, they had Lord Ganesh on their old currencies, which is a Hindu god. Their currency is called rupiah. That sounds almost identical to rupiah, the Indian currency. What I'm trying to say is, Indonesia doesn't try to hide that it has deep civilizational and cultural connections with India. And not just Indonesia, you could clearly see India's influence in the majority of Southeast Asia. They can't deny that they're heavily inspired by Indian culture and history, that they have civilizational ties with India. India is too big and influential to be ignored in Asia. And for a country like Indonesia that is so aware of this thing, running anti-India propaganda to ruin its relations with India makes no sense. That means it's the same propaganda bots at work. They have a global network. It's like an MNC now. And their ideal employee is someone who could sacrifice their life for their country. Or maybe a hateful retard chud in their mom's basement. Oh, they have an Instagram page too. India. All of their videos are on India. They're doing the job of the opposition in India. But most of this is not even criticism, it's just hatred and misinformation. And the person who sent this to me also said that this channel continuously posts blatant anti-India Hindu hateful propaganda and fake news that targets Indian Hindus on a daily basis. This channel often uploads 3 to 4 video shorts daily, and all of their videos are viral with hundreds of thousands, often millions of views, along with thousands of hate comments by Indonesians against Indian Hindus on almost every single video they upload. Indonesians are being brainwashed by such propaganda channels into hating Indian Hindus without realizing that they are being fed exaggerated, biased propaganda and fake news. In one of its videos titled Scam Asonga in India, which translates to Indian street vendor scam, has nothing to do with religion, and there is no proof that the street vendor in the video is Hindu or even Indian. He's apparently from Bangladesh or Pakistan. But the channel posted the video just to tarnish India's image and malign Hindus. The fact of the matter is, many such street camps of a similar nature are extremely common in Indonesia. Corruption by politicians in Indonesia is way worse than in India. This is what the person said. And these hateful propaganda videos are getting millions of views. What's up, YouTube? What is happening? Isn't it cyberbullying? Isn't it hate speech? Isn't it misinformation? Anyway, debunking these videos and their claims is not going to change their mind. It won't change anything. And it's not my style. They know what they're doing. And you should know what you're supposed to do. And how do you counter propaganda and fake news, my friends? With reality.
Just before I made my state visit to India, I had what is called a genome sequencing test. I tested my DNA, and I found out I had Indian DNA.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, sir. Let's go back to the roots, where we all came from. And did you see that head nod he did when he said he was Indian? He doesn't even have to prove it anymore.
No, this is true, you know. And that's why I think every time I hear some music, especially Indian music, I find my body moving.
I know this feeling. It's like It's like your body is genetically coded to respond to that music as soon as you hear it. And I'm talking about real, authentic Indian music, not the tingle-ling-ling. That is crap.
Today, at the state banquet in our palace, state banquet, very formal. But I cannot help my ministers, my generals, they all like to dance. They all like to sing. Maybe most of them have Indian DNA also.
And that is my point, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not run away from our roots. These channels can keep living in denial for as long as they want. But truth is like fart. No matter how hard you try to hold it in, it eventually escapes. Whether it's in the form of gas or a full-blown explosion.
Indonesia is the largest Muslim majority country on the entire planet by sheer population size. So if that's true, why is the island of Bali so overwhelmingly Hindu? Let's talk about it. To put things in perspective, only about 1.7% of the entire country of Indonesia is Hindu, according to recent statistics. And the island of Bali within Indonesia is about 87% Hindu. And this wasn't by accident. It actually goes all the way back to the 15th century whenever Muslims arrived in the country. Prior to the Muslim arrival, from about the 1st to the 14th century, Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms were all over the country of Indonesia.
And then forced conversions happened and it was no longer Hindu. Simple. They tried to do the same in India, but India managed to retain its civilizational and cultural identity, its religions. You must have seen one common thing in all these anti-India propaganda channels. They're overly worried about Muslims in India. Well, India has the second largest Muslim population in the world. They won't talk about why Indonesia, being a Hindu country, has less than 2% Hindu population. But they would try to paint the narrative that India is unsafe for Muslims, which is so funny. India is probably the only country where Muslims, Christians, people from any community or religion can actually coexist. I mean, this really shows the mentality of these extremists.
You had temples, you had regular worship. We even saw the caste system adopted by Indonesians. But once Islam arrived in the country, it spread rapidly. In just under 1 century, every single Hindu kingdom fell. Hindu priests, scholars, and artists all fled to the island of Bali. And it was a good refuge for them because the Muslim sultans had no use for the island. They were much more concerned with the ports of Indonesia that were popular trade route. Bali also was naturally protected by its geography. It was a very mountainous island. It still is, actually. It's surrounded by mountains, so it was really impractical for them to even try and go to this tiny island. The island is a time capsule for what Indonesia looked like just 6 or 7 centuries ago.
And it's super obvious that people go there to experience that same 6-7 centuries old Indonesia. There's a reason why it's called Indonesia. You can also find its mentions in India's earliest epic, Ramayana. Indonesia is so diverse, we got people named Muhammad Vishnu, Ram Abdullah, and Habib Indra. See, just like India, Indonesia is super diverse. But these names have to be the most secular names ever. You can't even find them in India anywhere. Here we have Indosphere and Sinosphere. Undeniably two of the oldest civilizations. And the Indian Vedic civilization still continues to exist. This is what the extremists from the desert cult don't understand. For them, everything is about one book. And everyone and everything that doesn't follow the book is invalid. They're subhumans. That's what they believe. And then they justify this kind of thinking with their actions. And this is the fundamental difference between the Indian civilization and the civilizations based on forceful conversions.
I think my favorite thing about India so far is just how much this country respects all religions. I've met people Hindu, I've met people Christian, I've met people Muslim, and they respect all religions. I've never been in a country that respected everybody's religion so much. Even this outfit, I asked them, hey, I'm Christian, is it okay to wear it? Because it's like a spiritual Hindu outfit. And they were like, yeah, bro, we love Jesus Christ. You can wear it for fun. It's one of my favorite things about this country.
Yeah, because religion is not treated as a club membership in India. It's more like a way to know yourself, to know the ultimate truth. You don't have any conversion rituals. Hinduism or Sanatan is like the language of the universe. You're just born that way. You don't have to convert or do anything. You just are. You exist.
My name is Nona Evita, and actually I'm Indonesian national, but my forefathers came from Sindh in India.
See, she looks so proud while saying that, as opposed to what those propaganda channels want you to believe. Since 1961, Muslim majority Indonesia has celebrated the Ramayana through the iconic Prambanan ballet. So since 1961, Indonesia has been staging the iconic Ramayana ballet at the foot of the magnificent Prambanan temple in Yogyakarta. See, as I said before, not all of them have forgotten their roots.
India and Indonesia have long, ancient history together. Even now, a very important part of our language comes from Sanskrit. Our names, many names of Indonesia are actually Sanskrit names. In our daily life, the influence of ancient Indian civilization is very strong. A few weeks ago, I had my genetic sequencing test and my DNA test, and they tell me that I have Indian DNA. So, and everybody knows when I hear Indian music, I start dancing.
We get it, Mr. Subianto. You're undeniably Indian. This is the president of Indonesia. Now I'll leave it to you guys. Do you want to see Indonesia from his perspective? Or from the perspective of the propagandists on those hateful channels? Negativity grows faster than positivity, and it's easy to fall for the anti-India propaganda.
We don't invade anyone unless required. We will invade if required, but we typically don't.
We've never done it so far.
Oh, we have. Who were the Cholas? The Cholas not colonized, they conquered the whole of Southeast Asia. The Philippines spoke Sanskrit. The Filipino kings were Rajas, Hindu Rajas. All the way to the Philippines, including Vietnam, including Cambodia, including Indonesia. Everything was conquered by the Cholas. You had Chola vassal states in the Philippines. The greatest period of Indonesia's history was the Majapahit Empire, which was a Hindu empire. The greatest temples you will find across Southeast Asia are Shaivite temples and Vaishnavite temples, Vishnu temples. Yeah. So India did invade whenever required. Sri Kanishka did conquer the whole of Southeast Asia, whole of Central Asia as well. Kumaragupta, the Gupta emperors also conquered various parts of Central Asia whenever required. So it's not like we have always been like that. Whenever needed, we have done it. But we don't needlessly go and conquer other countries. And even when we conquer other countries, we don't colonize and extract the hell out of them. We don't use them as blood bags the way the Europeans have used the rest of the world. When they colonized India, they used India as a blood bag.
They sucked us dry.
They sucked us dry. We have never done that. The Cholas conquered Southeast Asia. They did not ever extract anything out of Southeast Asia. They actually enriched Southeast Asia with our culture and civilization. So India is that sort of nation. And maybe that explains our no first use policy.
This is why I keep saying that India is civilizationally different. And it should not aspire to be the next China, the next Europe, the next anything. It has its values, morals and ethics in place. It just needs to improve more and remove all the social evils like corruption. This is apparently a Ramayana show in Indonesia that happens there daily. One of the greatest epics of Indian civilization. But of course, it's not just limited to India, it's a global thing. For some people it can be really fun, and for others it can be a little overwhelming. And it's totally understandable. The problem is when you think this is not right because it's not compatible with your culture. This is one of the main characteristics of the Indian way of thinking. You respect and acknowledge all cultures, all religions. Thank you so much for sharing this with me, Arjun. And that's it for this video. And by the way, it's my birthday today. Where's my wish? Where's my gift? Anyway, as always, propaganda doesn't change the reality.
Pozdrawia cię pięknie!